Hi, Kathleen. How are
Hi,
you?
how good. How are you doing?
Excellent. It is so wonderful to have new music from you. I've been living with a few songs, I guess, for a couple months now, and it brought me back. I'm just getting shivers right now thinking about when I first heard your music, once upon a time. And I went back to this place of familiarity and, hearing your voice, been hearing and your lyrics have always been so insightful. And one of the things I've loved best about your music. So anyway, congratulations on your
Thanks.
music.
Yeah, it's they always well, Jason's manager Tracy called me about 3 or 4 weeks after we'd finished the record, which would have been like January, February of this year. And he's like, "You're about to go into that neverland where you finished a record that you worked for almost 2 years on, and then it's like nobody hears it for like months, and you have no idea like what if anyone's ever. It's just a strange sort of like it's like the t- it's like the Twilight Zone
Right?
for a project that you spent like every waking hour on. So it's really exciting that people are hearing it, and I really
I
appreciate
love
what you
I
said.
love
That's
so much
nice.
you brought that up because it is something I've asked other artists about in the past. You get something done, you hand it over, and then it's sort of out of your control for a while, while you wait for everything to line up around
Yeah,
it. So, how
yeah.
did you hook up with Jason to produce this record?
Well, I mean, I sort of did a few shows opening for Jason in 2021, 22, and he's very generous with making sure that he, mixes up his opening spot for people a lot. So, it really gives artists an opportunity to be in front of his audience, which is very generous of him. But it was actually through this covers project that I did.
Okay.
It had been suggested to me sort of in a way that was not sort of consistent with my views on music, that covering artists that were, of the moment and popular in sort of streaming and TikTok world would be a really great strategy for me. And I didn't listen to any of that advice. I covered the Flaming Lips and Tom Petty and
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen. But I did take a sort of, uh, uh, you know, the problem is usually in covering great songs is that they're already great and they don't need somebody else doing another version of them. But I remember feeling that Traveling Alone could have been my song because I've spent so much damn time on tour, on the road, driving, and I was listening to that record one day and I just felt like Traveling Alone was a song that I could have made mine. And so I took a stab at it and I was thrilled with how it turned out. And then I sent it to him and he so graciously wrote me back and was very complimentary. And then I said, would you sing on it? And he was like, yeah. And then he asked me, what are you doing these days? And I said, well, looking for I'm looking for a producer. I have a new record ready to go and I don't know who to ask. And he said, "Well, I maybe I should throw my hat in the ring." I was like, "Yeah, maybe maybe you should." And so incredibly, the guy is untouchable. He's so busy. He has so much on the go, and he made some time for me, which was again very very generous of him. And I was thrilled,
I,
truly.
I love the comment you made about his solo on Save Your Soul. And it's something that I'm going to remember. It ripped a solo on this that makes me want to drive faster. And that's relatable. I love that, that kind of song when you're out in the summer and the windows are rolled down and it's just like connecting with you in a great way. Is
Yeah.
I read that this song sort of served as maybe a sonic template for the record. Is that sort of a way to describe it? Like you,
Yeah, it did. I wrote this song for a project that they never ended up using the song for. And what was really wonderful about it was sometimes you write things that, even if they're about other people, they're just tethers of you in them. And this one was so specifically about a particular character and a particular scene, and they wanted particular words used. And I thought of it as a really interesting challenge. And what ended up happening was I ended up writing something sort of as an exercise for someone else, and then I ended up falling in love with the vibe and the pocket that I wrote it in. And it was like kind of like a little bit of Rolling Stones, a little bit of, sort of that amazing constant craving where the Rolling
Yeah.
Stones meet, and then on that kind of, I demoed it and I thought, this is exactly the kind of record I want to make. I want to make something that kind of makes you want to drive a little faster, makes you kind of want to walk these songs off, because that's what I did. I usually work on music and then I'll go for a long walk with my
Ah,
dog and I'll just sort of hear the sort of the pocket of the song while I'm walking. And so yeah, that song sort of set me up.
so you got back into making music after taking a break for all the right reasons, and I would say you know that is something that's happening more often than now than I think in the last 10 years. We're seeing artists really step up and speak about the importance of their mental health. So I love that you sort of set an example for that. And then you came back with total freedom, and I'm wondering where how what roped you back in to making your own music and the covers project.
Well, yeah, when I thought I had quit music, and I knew that sort of maybe there would be things I would continue to do. Like I did do a few shows very, very uh infrequently, but I did
Mhm.
still play a few things here and there. It was actually a call from Maren Morris.
Ah,
And her manager had messaged me and said, Marin's working on a new record. She's a huge fan of your early records. We're writing. Would you consider coming down? And at this point, I think I'd owned my coffee shop about 3 years, 4 years. And I remember being in the kitchen a lot, making breakfast sandwiches and thinking, I need a weekend off. And so I thought, what's the worst that can happen? And in the end, it ended up sort of being the origin story of my follow-up, my record after that, because I met a guy named Ian Fitchuck who was in the co-writing session with Marin, and Ian is the co-producer of that incredible record, A Golden Hour by Casey Musgraves
oh
with
yeah.
Daniel Tashian. And he ended up co-producing that follow-up record with me. And it was just one of those things. I was in a room working on a song and it just felt like, oh, this is magic. Like songs are fun. It's my natural state of being. And it felt yeah, it felt easy. Not easy like it's easy to make something good. It was
Right.
easy to be in that state of mind and I just missed it. And so it was great. I started working on a new record and then the rest is history. Just kept going.
And now, unlike the circumstances of when Total Freedom came out, you get to hit the road and do shows and play with your band. And what's the best part about that when you are introducing an album, to your fans in the live setting the first time? Do you get excited about certain songs and how they're going to play live? How does that work
Oh
for you?
yeah. It is because you do so many shows where you've been playing your body of work for a long time, and to have new stuff is kind of like it's like going to a new place you've never seen after being on, going to the same five restaurants, and you get to finally go to a new town and there's a new restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, the good thing is I love my band so much. They're really some of the most important people in my life, and they're also people I deeply respect musically. So bringing new work to the table is very fun. And one of the things I think it's really interesting is when you write and record a song for your album, you kind of do it in that little bubble environment. You don't do it out on the road. Most people don't test run songs for a year or two. And what happens when you start playing that new song on stage every night is you actually learn how to play it. You actually learn how to sing it, and
Right.
you realize like you don't actually know it that well yet. And so that's what's really fun about like, that versus 6 o'clock news, which was one of my first songs.
Right.
The way that song became so effortless to play, and it doesn't get boring. It's just some songs really settle in, and that's also how you figure out what songs are really great on your album over time is the ones you
Right.
look forward to playing.
Right. Well, the new
Yeah.
album will be called Billionaire when it arrives. Uh,
Yeah.
can't wait to hear the whole thing. We are super excited to have you back in our world, and leading a genre that you kind of helped kickstart and make popular in the Americana world. So, congratulations! Cannot wait to hear the entire album, and we thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you. It's really nice that you guys are playing it. I appreciate that.
You have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.